I'm ready. Today we're going to, this is inspired by what we did last class and the question about just the numbers, the question about sexual assault. And I didn't really ask a question about racism and kind of just how quickly we started to kind of, I don't know, just you got to start thinking about how often it happens or how often does discrimination happen, does racism happen, how we make sense of it and how we manage it. And so, in a class like this, we're going to talk a little bit about, the numbers, right? And I really want to talk about how often does racism and discrimination happen. Because, and I will touch on sexual assault, by the way, in the moment. But I realize, or I want you to see, that this is really largely what we're arguing about all the time in the world of race relations and the world in which we're dealing with, and a lot of the kind of contentious arguments that happen regarding race, not only in the United States, but really anywhere in the world. We're oftentimes, very often, we're arguing about this. It's like it happens a lot or it happens a little bit. And then if we say a lot, what do we mean by a lot? And if we say it doesn't happen that often, what do we mean by that often? So what do we mean? What is it? And what do we know? And how much do we know? And how much do you know? So think about how many times you've heard people arguing about race, or arguing about discrimination, or arguing about racism. And they're making aspersions about, or they're making claims about something that happened, how often it happens, etc. And yet, no one has the data. No one really has sort of that way of grounding it. And so what I'd like to do, do you have a microphone? So what I want to do is, think just for yourselves right now. Answer that question. How often does discrimination and racism occur in the United States? No, think about the answer. Now, so the last two classes, I've invited someone up and said, okay, give us a few words about this, right? And I didn't expect anyone to have much of anything to say about any of those topics, really. I was pleasantly surprised that, some people really, what was interesting was just getting average ideas. So some of you really didn't know anything about it, but you nonetheless came up and just gave it a shot. And that's cool, right? So, is there anybody in here that feels like, or who in here feels like if I gave them the microphone, you could make a sound, rational claim that it happens a lot, it happens a little, or it happens somewhere in between, and then define those things? And that if this video got blasted out across the world, which is not going to happen, of course, but if it did, you would feel really good about it. You'd feel intellectually grounded. You'd feel like you were smart. You'd feel like, yep, it's really good. Like you could feel like you could sit up here on this table with this microphone and say, yep, I could make a really good sound case for how often racism and discrimination happen. And I not only could I stand by that, but some really, really smart people. And I don't mean smart people that think like you. I mean smart people that think all over the place would say, yeah, that was actually really, really cool, thoughtful, and smart. Is there anyone in here who feels like, oh no, I could definitely blow that out of the water, and I'm not going to? And if I said, yep, you can do it. But I'm also now going to allow the class to say whatever they want on Twitter about you. So you got to feel really strong. You got to feel really good. Is there anybody that feels like, yep, they could cover both sides. They could do the arguments. They could get it. I could nail that. 5 minutes. Anyone? Okay, so look, no one's raising their hand. So now think about this. Think about the fact that nobody is raising their hand, and yet, if you go to a party tonight, or this weekend, or you're hanging out with your friends, whether it's your dorm or your apartment or wherever you are, and you start talking about this, or for example, If you didn't read the Collegian article by Professor Henderson, who teaches in political science department, he wrote this open letter in the Collegian. Don't read it now, but it's really worth reading. And so he's saying that. So you got to include that perspective. You have to include lots of perspectives in. But none of you are saying, oh yeah, I could do that. And yet, when you're sitting with your friends, and you're talking this weekend, and let's say you pull out Professor Henderson's Collegian article, and you start talking about it, what are you going to say? Because I just gave you the opportunity to come down here with the microphone and give us something really thoughtful. What are you going to say? What are you going to just be saying stupid shit? It's like, what are you going to just be pulling stuff out of your rear end? Oh, wait, hang on. Here's something else. Oh, yeah. Like, what are you going to say? What are you talking about? What are we arguing about? Like, if you can't, like, how you answer it? We're all answering that question. Like, if you're with your friends this weekend, let's say you have a couple beers, or you do a couple bong hits, or you're just sitting around having tea or coffee, and that comes up, you are going to weigh in on it. I can guarantee you're going to weigh in on it. What are you going to say? And so the issue is, if you can't say it in here, and I know this is a big deal, right? But if you can't say it in here, then you got work to do. So maybe by the last day of the semester, in a class like this, you would be able to if I said, hey, someone take the microphone, you'd come up with a good solid 5 minutes of thoughtful analysis. But what are we saying? What are people talking about? So I want to give you some frameworks. I want to just put stuff out there. And what I'm going to do is, some of you, at the moment that you start feeling like, I don't know if I really like what this guy's saying, remember that there are people who are thinking differently than you that are thinking, I think I understand what he's saying. And that 10 minutes later or 20 minutes later, those of you who are thinking, I don't really know if I like what he's saying, 10 minutes later, you're going to be saying, oh, no, I really like this. This makes a lot of sense to me. There's nothing ideological about it. I mean, there is, it's ideological. You can just pull stuff out of your rear end. But if you want to be thoughtful about it, right? And part of the reason we're arguing about it is because people are just putting stuff out like on the talk shows and all. It's like no one's like, come on, man, show me something. Show me some numbers. Show me some data. Like, come on, give me something thoughtful here. So I'm gonna try to be as thoughtful as I possibly can. By the way, remember, I scored in the 51st percentile of my SAT. So being thoughtful is not that easy for me, but I'm gonna do the best that I possibly can. All right, is that cool? So look, how much is happening? So the first thing you gotta struggle with is disbelief. When we start talking about discrimination and racism, there's a lot of disbelief. Okay? And there's a lot of disbelief for a lot of reasons. And first off, if I want to make the claim, if I want to argue that, hey, this is happening, this bad stuff is happening, then I got to confront the fact that most of it is never seen. Most of it is hidden. Most of it happens in a way that it just becomes, I really don't know. And almost no one will ever know, except a few parties involved. So they just become stories. And so you got a lot of the disbelief. If we're going to start talking about racism, you got to come up against white privilege, dominant privilege. In this culture, it's white privilege, but it's dominant privilege. Doesn't matter what the culture is. For like Han Chinese, it's like right now, Muslims in China are really up against some serious discrimination. And a lot of you who are Chinese nationals, and I never know how you pronounce this. I always just say Uyghurs, but this Muslim community, they're up against some serious discrimination. So it's like, okay, this is Han supremacy. Han Chinese, it's the ethnic group of China that's the dominant group, right? In India, it's something else. And wherever it is, it's something. In the United States, it's white supremacy. You come up against that. And I don't mean white supremacy like the KKK and stuff. I just mean like this kind of sense that white is just like the lens through which you kind of see the world. And you don't even know it. So for white people, and I can speak for white people, I am one. I've been one all my life. There's a way in which it's like water to fish. So unless you grow up in lots of cultures, like unless you grow up in lots of cultures and you really engage, it's like water to fish. You just don't see it. You don't get it. You don't understand it. So you have to hear it. So there's a certain way in which I'm just not part of the community. Let's say I don't see it. It could be male supremacy. Like why when women have all these experiences about being a woman, why is it so hard to get? Like what's so difficult to get about women? Just so many experiences. I remember last semester that seemed to make a point to a lot of people, but it's like, when I'm walking across campus. Oh, wait. Heaven has my phone. Don't you have my phone? Thanks, man. When I'm walking across campus, and every woman that I pass, it's at night, and I'm wherever I am on campus, and every woman I pass is on her phone. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Like, is every woman talking to someone? Y'all talking to someone on your phones? Like, every single woman is on her phone talking to somebody. Never, unless she's with another woman or with a guy. And I'm like, what's going on? And then one day, it dawned on me, oh no, they're not on their phones. This is like a protection here. I'm like, damn. And I'll never forget how that just sort of sunk into me. It's like, you pretend you're on your phone. Because if you're talking to someone, no one's going to hassle you. And I'm thinking, whoa, check that out. And then I start, it's one of those moments when a light bulb goes on, right? And then I this, and then that. And then suddenly as a man, my world starts to break down. And it's slow, but it breaks down. Just like as a white person, my world starts to break down. And I don't know what it is that the resistance that people have. Well, this is what we're going to talk about. The resistance. It's almost like, but if I allow my world to break down, it must mean something about me. And what it means about me is that I'm bad. I'm wrong, I'm bad, I'm something. You know what I mean? So I don't want my world to break down. And so I'm going to get this white supremacy or this white sort of aura around me, or this male aura around me, or straight. If I'm not part of the queer community, I got to be if I'm part of the queer community and I'm connected to it, I start hearing stories. And I start, I get this thing about being straight. I get the prevalence of straightness. It's Jenna, the thing that Jenna said the other day was on Thursday was about, it's just really tired of being excluded. It's like I get tired of being excluded. It's like, well, for example, imagine me saying to the guys, well, listen, y'all, men in here, here, let me give an example. So men in here, all the men, when you get married and you're hanging out with your wife after about 10 years or so, and it's going to be, I can tell you as a man, hanging out with my wife. So all of you get that, right? You see what just happened? Where are all the gay men? They're going I'm not going to have a wife. You know what I mean? What is that? And so suddenly when you start seeing that stuff, it starts to pick up a little bit. You start to notice it. And you're like, oh, I get that. That's like straight supremacy, right? Hey, we talk about it. I hate I don't like these terms because they just become like these PC terms, but heteronormality or whatever. It's like, okay, whatever. It's once you see it, you can't not see it. So, or like national supremacy, right? You know, if you like when there are just certain things about a culture, or like ability and disability. I mean, it's one thing after another, right? Okay, so part of the disbelief is you get sort of stuck behind these walls, and you just can't really get there. Okay? Part of it is just ignorance. You don't have it. Like for me, the disability, I didn't fully get disability until, dude. All right, hang on. Can I borrow your chair, dude? Oh my God. All right, I'm gonna need a volunteer, man. This is gonna be really awkward. No, it's gonna have to be a guy. Dude, dude, have you been up here yet? It's all you, man. All right, you can handle the awkwardness. I'm gonna demonstrate to you how. Hang on. Okay. What's your name?
My name's Tevin.
Tevin? Okay, Tevin. So here's the deal. I'm going to take you back to me being 26 years old and the faculty advisor to the Disabled Student Organization at Rutgers University, for which I was the advisor, okay? Which only meant really that I bought the beer for the parties because I was of age and, whatever, right? So it was a wide range of people. So one guy one person in the organization had spina bifida, okay? So he was really not. So he needed a lot of help. He needed help. So he couldn't move his hands. He couldn't get out of his chair and he couldn't move his hands. Okay, so here, ready? So you're me, I'm him.
Okay.
Are you ready? So hey, Tevin,
yeah.
Can you help me go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
All right, man. Okay, well wheel me over. So we're gonna go into the bathroom. All right, thanks, man. Can you get my my water bottle?
Yeah.
All right. He's just all right, man. Take the cap off.
Okay.
Unzip my pants, please. Dude, hang on a second, bro. Hang on. This is real. You cannot in any way pretend. You can't even pretend like you're uncomfortable, bro. Okay? Because you're me. And you got to go like, what you're thinking right now is, holy shit, I'm about to touch a man's penis. Right? And unless you're gay or unless just whatever, you've never done that before other than your own. And so, maybe you have, but I don't know, whatever, right? But so I can't see your face, so clear your face. You got like 3 seconds to clear your face and before you start unzipping my pants. See, you ready? Clear it. All right. I got it. Now we're gonna start talking about the Phillies. So now just pretend like we're just gonna do this. Pretend like you're doing it. Okay, just here. Just hold it like right here. Good. You gotta bend over a little bit. Hold it right there. No, just come. You gotta come close, dude. Dude, your left here. Give me the microphone. Your left hand is on. Imagine your left hand's on my penis, and you're looking at me. No, seriously, go ahead. It's all good. It's awkward. So you hold the thing close. Just put your left hand over here. Okay, so now look at me and start talking about the Phillies. So how are they going to do this year?
They're going to do good,
Yeah, all right. Hey, just hold the microphone. Yeah, they're going to be all right?
Yeah, World Series.
Yeah, what do you think, man? I don't know, man. They got the new pitcher going on.
He's all right. He's all right.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
The whole time you're acting totally normal, going like, because your left hand is on my penis. And I'm like, okay, I'm done, dude. So can you shake it a few times? Not too much, though, right? Because Dude, men, right?
I mean, like, if you're in the medical field, like, this shouldn't be.
Dude,
a
I'm not in
problem.
the medical field, my
No,
friend.
like me, like if I was a nurse, this would be like a every.
Yeah, exactly. Again, it's not.
Wait, so like this is like a.
This really happened
Like in university.
in a university bathroom at Rutgers University.
So like a professor.
Me, the professor, he was my student, and I'm touching his penis and helping him go to the bathroom because nobody else was there to help him.
I mean, that's a great thing to do, helping somebody out. Like, no. But like, if somebody needs help, and then like, you're the only one there. I mean, he needs to use the bathroom. Like,
Exactly.
If you're in that position, I guess that would be like you're gonna pee yourself. Like, you don't want to pee yourself, and if you're there to have the opportunity to help somebody, you gotta do what you gotta do. And I'm probably not gonna see that guy ever again. So
But in this case, you're going to see him all the time because he's your student. And he might ask you another time. And then it's going to go from that to enemas. Before you know it, you're like doing an enema. Like, oh my. Do you guys know what an enema is, right? We good? It's like, oh my God, I'm giving someone an enema. I'm giving my student an enema. Like, oh my God. Because, we're on a trip somewhere. And it's like, yeah. And so the thing is, you learn, like Tevin had this here, you sit down, right? So you sat, we'll pretend that it's me and it's you, right? So you got 3 seconds to go from, oh my God, to, all right, this is totally normal. Yep, got this. All right, here we go. And like we're like this, you know what I mean? Like totally normal. Like eye contact, got it. And it's not going to not be normal because I'm like, dude, I don't want to make him awkward. Like, come on, he's already awkward. I'm awkward. It's like, but we're not. And then I get done. And I'm like, oh, that was pretty cool. All right, I got that. And then I walked through a doorway. And once I walked through that doorway, I never came back. Because, not just touching men's penises, but because I then said, oh, I get it. And then it wasn't just him. It wasn't him. It was then another friend who was blind. And then it's another friend who's paralyzed from the legs down. And it's another friend. And before long, now it's not just people in the organization, like these students, but it's also adults. And it's here and it's there. And then I learn what to do when I encounter someone in a wheelchair. I'm like, I get it. I've learned it all. So it's like, it's the same with all of these issues, whether it's race or gender or anything. In time, you start to learn. And then once you start to learn, you get on the inside. And once you get on the inside, then it's a whole different ballgame. The ignorance fades away. And once the ignorance fades away, then it's like, all right, cool. So had that been real, you would have, obviously here, I wasn't going to have you pull my zipper down, but it would be a different story, and you would get there, right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But like you said, I like what you said. It's like you're not going to leave somebody in a lurch, as they say. Cool. All right, dude. That was a little awkward, but not too bad. You did nice. Thanks, man. And then you got deception. So where's some of the disbelief is deception. Because, it's like, well, everyone's trying to play off different things and pretend like it doesn't happen and make arguments that it's not as bad. Or because people, let's say racism, you got one group of people saying, oh, it's really bad, and the other group is saying it's not bad at all. Well, who's deceiving? Where's the deception? If both sides aren't looking at the data, if both sides are just like coming up with what they think they want to believe, what they imagine to be true, then it's just deception. Both sides are deceiving. And like, what I want for you is, look, if you think racism is a problem and discrimination is a problem, then you need to be able to make the argument. Like, you need to be able, by the end of this semester, to be able to take the microphone and sit on this table or any table in front of any group and I'm going to give you my 5-minute piece on why and how it's a problem. You should be able to do that. And if you can't, then, of course, we have an issue. So, and sometimes it just seems absolutely unbelievable that some stories that we hear are true. We hear stories of racism. We hear stories of discrimination. This can't possibly be true. It goes into that category. There's no way that happened in that way. Look, I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to give you this. Right now, I'm not going to say what I'm talking about, but I want to say something. I will never tell you what I'm going to, I don't tell anybody. So over the break, my wife and I were in Iraq. And we were up in their area of Mosul. And Mosul is where ISIS had taken over and just started to create the caliphate and so on. And I'm a person that has been studying, so I just sort of get a kick out of, I study the militarism and the CIA and the NSA and, going to meetings like retired CIA agents and conferences and hearing what they had to say and learning from them about things. And it's like just stuff that you just wouldn't believe. It's hard to believe is true. But when you hear it directly from people who were part of it, you start to go, whoa. So there are a lot of things I can tell you that, it's like, it will sound a little bit extreme, but okay. But I could tell you some things. But I sat at a table. Lori, my wife, and I. We sat at a table with a colleague in a mall, in a shopping mall. Just people going by, all sorts of things. And he was in the Iraqi military. And he told us some things that even I, with all of my, I think, a lot of knowledge and facts and stuff, even I, the entire time, I was just like this. Like, oh, man. And I would get back up and I'd keep listening and then like, oh, I was trying to believe what he was telling me, and I knew that it was true. I was 100% certain it was true, and I couldn't, even me, who I can't even begin to tell you how many books I've read about the CIA and U.S. military operations and foreign policy and the evil shit that happens around the world, not just by the U.S., but many countries, right? Even me, I sat for we were there about 3 hours, just like, oh God, just trying to find folders in my brain that would accept the things that I was hearing that I knew were true, and I couldn't even find a folder to put them in. You know what I mean? So imagine now that we're just talking about racism, discrimination. You've never encountered anything, sexism, like the stuff that I hear, that I know happen with women, that I know with black people, brown people, with whatever. It's like, oh my God. It's like if you don't have a folder, you don't even have a place to put it. And I never really understood that until this trip in Iraq. When I sat there for 3 hours trying to find a place to put what he was telling me, and I couldn't do it. It's like I told my wife, my whole world has been crushed. It's like it's like I got to start over. And race and stuff, I've heard. There's so many stories. I'm beyond that. The stories and so on. Okay, so here, let me give you an example. So here's what I want to do. Let me just pick someone who doesn't think that race. I just want to act this out, okay? So just give me somebody who just has never had an experience of racism. Really, they haven't. Like, it's just not, you could be white, black, brown, doesn't really matter, but you've never just had an experience of it, which isn't a problem, which is most white people, by the way, so feel free to raise your hand, I mean, please, right? Do you want to go? Okay, we'll go with you. By the way, at this stage in the semester, if you've come up to the front already, it's like best to just like wait a little bit, okay? So here's what's going to happen. So what's your name?
Corinne.
Corinne? Okay, so here, Corinne. So I'm going to set the stage for you, okay? We'll put it right there, okay? So you're a black man. You're that guy right there, okay? And you are, here, put this in your pocket, okay? And you've been out at a concert in downtown Portland. And you come back to the hotel. It's not like a 5-star hotel, but yeah, it's all right. It's got it, right? And you come back to the hotel, and you get a call from your mother. And as you come back from the hotel, you're on your phone. Do you have your phone with you? All right, you can use mine. So you're on the phone with your mother. So, and you are looking, you're in the lobby of the hotel, and then you find a place in the corner of the lobby that's kind of quiet. And so just pretend like you're talking to your mother, okay?
Okay.
Now, so she's not bothering anybody, right? Just having a conversation. And somebody at the desk and the security guard says, hey, like, whoa, who's this person over here, right? So have the phone up to your ear and so on. And I come over and I say, hey, excuse me. So get the card out of your pocket. Here, I'll take this. Yeah, you don't need that for right now. So you get the card. And I'm the security guard, and I come over and said, hey, are you a guest at this hotel? And you just hold it up and wave it to me. I'm like, no. And you think, she's at the hotel, right? She's got the little card here. It says DoubleTree Portland on it. She's a guest here, right? It's her keys in there. Got it? Like, anything else? Is there anything? So, you're a guest at the hotel. Okay, you can pretend like you're not talking for a second. I'm going to talk to you. So, you're a guest at the hotel, right?
Yeah.
That's enough for you, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty clear.
Of course.
There's no question about it. You're in the lobby of the hotel. You're in the corner quietly talking. They don't know you're talking. I don't know you're talking to your mother.
Yeah.
You come along. You hold that little card up, and it says DoubleTree, and you're there, right?
Yeah.
Got it? So absolutely, me, the security guard, what that says to you is,
That I belong at the hotel and I have a room.
okay, no question about it. Okay. Oh, but that's not enough for me. I'm like, so now get back on your phone. You're talking to your mom. What's your room number?
501.
No, but let's say you don't want to answer now because you're talking to your mother, right? You're this guy. And you've already shown me the card. Now you can say, I'm in room 501. Or you could say, what else could you say? What else could you say?
That I'm on a call.
Yeah, leave me alone.
Leave me alone. Yeah.
I've already showed you I'm a guest at your fucking hotel. You could do any number of things. You could be like really nice about, you could just be like, oh guys, security guard, okay, got it. Okay, excuse me, hang on, I'm in 501, whatever. Like, you could be really polite, right? So, or you could be slightly annoyed.
I could be really mean about it.
You could be really mean about it. What would you say if you were really mean about it? If I came over and said, excuse me, that's not, what's your room number?
I'll be like, what's your problem? I don't know, I'm not a mean person. I'd be like, what's your problem, I guess?
Okay, yeah, what's your problem? Whatever the case is, right? So now imagine I just say, so you refuse to answer. And I go get to the front desk and I say, and so we now call the police. And you keep talking on the phone. And we're calling the police like, excuse me, we have a problem down here. Can you send some officers to DoubleTree in Portland? Okay, yeah, thanks, man. Now I show up with the police. I'm the security guard, and I'm back with the police. I say, excuse me, you come with us. We're going to cite you for trespass. You're going to have to, are you a guest of the hotel? You show me the card? Yeah, okay, well, that's fine, but you're going to have to check out. And come with us. And if you don't check out, we're going to arrest you for trespassing. And you start saying, excuse me, my things are in my room. I'm like,
I'd be pissed.
You'd be pissed, right?
Pissed off,
And
yeah.
there's nothing you could do because once the police get involved, it happens right there. It's rare that police are going to step down. That's the nature of it, right? Because once the police enter, you get that, right? You understand? Like once you get that place. So now you go and you pack your stuff out of your room. You lose your money. We don't refund your money. You pack your things and you go find another hotel. Got it? Now, can you believe how likely is that to happen to you? Wait, what's your name?
Corinne.
Corinne. How likely is that to happen to you? Just think about that.
Probably like 0 chance that would happen to me.
And if it happened to you, you'd just be like, what?
I'd be so confused. I like wouldn't understand what was going on.
And so when you think about all the white people you know, your friends, everybody, it's like, how likely is that to happen to them? Or how likely is it that they think would happen to them?
Any one of my friends would be like, any one of my white friends would be so like, what's your reasoning? Why are you doing this? Like, what's the point of anything?
If it would ever happen.
Yeah, they would never expect it to happen to them.
Yeah, exactly. So now, here, walk. Okay, so hang tight. I need someone who's black, who can do this for a second. Bro, is that you? Oh, you're perfect. All right. And we don't have to just do the black. All right, so what's your name?
Mike.
Mike? All right, Mike, have a seat, man. Take that. Do you have your phone with you? Yeah. All right, get on your phone.
Which one?
Pretend you're talking to your mom. All right. Excuse me, are you a guest at the hotel?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Show me the card. Hold it up. Okay. What's your room number?
I'm not telling you.
Why aren't you telling, man? What's that moment at which you just go, like, dude, white people. Let me, before we go into this, white people, here's something you really need to understand. This idea that black people have we're just doing white and black today, by the way. This class is not about white and black, but today I'm mostly doing black people. Look, I'm not a bleeding heart white dude. Okay, I don't feel guilty about anything. Trust me, white people, my brothers and sisters of the white ancestral group, I don't feel guilty being white, okay? And you're going to hear me, I'm going to challenge, black people are going to get challenged really hard by me, okay? Right now, I just want to say something. I don't run into many black people with chips on their shoulders, man. I really don't. I mean, maybe a little bit more like college students because, you're young and you know what I mean? It's like, everybody's young. You're all annoyed at something like crazy. If you're not 20 years old and you're not sort of annoyed at life at some level, you're not 20 years old. I mean, come on, this is the nature of it. But I really don't meet many people. I really don't. And so, but I get a couple things, right? So that moment that you just say, I'm not telling you, because I already showed you my card. What's going on in your head?
That you're racially profiling me? That you're an asshole?
And then what else? Keep going.
That I'm not telling you.
Because
I don't have to.
Because
I showed you my room key.
You gave me enough. And that should be enough. And do you think it would have been enough if it was her?
Yes.
Does you think it's ever happened to white people that they get kicked out of a hotel because they refuse to give their room number?
No.
And I'm going to disagree with you. I'm sure it's happened somewhere. I'm sure it has happened somewhere. At some point in time, someone who looked like Carissa. Corinne. Yeah, right? Someone who looks like Corinne got booted out of a hotel somewhere because she did not give her room number when they were asking, okay? But it doesn't take a lot for this story. If you've been around the block, it doesn't take a lot to be like, oh yeah, I get that. And it doesn't take a lot to get annoyed. You know what I mean? But it's disbelief. If you're white, like, man, if I'm you, and like me and you, I'm just like, nah, come on, man. That didn't happen. And you're telling the story, right? Here, stand up here now. So you're telling the story, right, in your discussion group. Yeah, I got kicked out of the hotel and da-da-da. And you know what white people, what we're going to say is like, nah, dude, come on, Mike. There's no way that happened. Come on, man, you must have done something. You did something, right? Were you dressed like that? Whatever, you did something. You must have, like, maybe they just didn't like your hat. They didn't like Penn State. I don't fucking know. Come on, dude, you did something. You know you're going. And if I don't say that, because I'm not going to say it, because I'm white, and I'm like, that's not politically correct right there, man. So I'm not going to be like, I'm not going to say, you're not going to say, right? Oh, you must have done something, Mike, but you're thinking it. You must have done something. Because it's never happened to Corinne. It's never happened to me. It's never happened to any white person I know. I hear these stories from black people, from brown people, but never got it from anybody else. It's like, I don't know. Dude, you must have done something, man.
I didn't do nothing.
Exactly. And so the hotel chain investigated, and then the employees got fired. It's like, yeah, you got fired, man. Come on, dude. So uncool. What more do you need than this right here? What more do you need than that? What do you think? The guy went and stole this? Like, come on, man. Did he steal it? Did he go take it? And then now he's going to come back in. He's going to sneak around the hotel and steal shit, because, like, come on. This is the thing. This is the kind of stuff, this is the disbelief. So there's a reason. So there's a reason for the disbelief. There are lots of reasons, and one is certainly experience that we don't have this. Like if it doesn't happen to you. Men, there are all sorts of things that happen to the women in your life. Your mother, your sisters, your aunts, your grandmothers, your girlfriends or your boyfriend's sisters if you're gay. Whatever it is, there are all sorts of things that happen that you just don't necessarily hear about and don't necessarily understand. And that's that disbelief thing, man. That's part of what we're battling with all the time about this stuff. So, by the way, black and brown people, it's like there are all sorts of things that you don't believe either. That like for example, my stories in Iraq, or I got stories that you would never believe, man. Or like disabled people, you're going to do the same thing. Like I could bring a group of disabled Penn State students in here and start telling stories about what it's like to be disabled, and just as many black and brown people in this room would disbelieve them as white people. Or just as many black and brown men disbelieve women as white men. We're all in this together. But right now, we just happen to be talking about race. Dude, thanks, man. All right, thank you. Wait, hang on. Dude. Hang on, man. All right. I don't want to be sexist. All right, thanks, y'all. Okay, so that was nice. Corinne did nice. All right. Okay, wait. I got it. Okay, so here we go. Who's got a crazy story? So now we're going to stick with race for a second. I don't want to open gender up yet. Who's got a crazy story that you can say is 99% true, like you didn't hear it from your friend or your friend's friend? Like, who's got a crazy story that you could tell really fast that there's no way the class would believe it because it's like so crazy and outlandish like that? Like if that dude was in class, you just would be like, nah, dude, there's no way that happened. Who's got a story, man? Dude, wait, hang on. Wait, go ahead. Can you... In the front row. Who else? Anyone else have a story that they could go with? Yo, stand up too, bro. All right, go ahead. What is it? What happened?
So, hello, beautiful people. Anyways.
Wait, what's your name?
Zaki.
Zaki?
Yeah. So, I was dating this white girl in my freshman year, and I was meeting her family, and So they're from like central Pennsylvania. So like really, really racist.
And dude, hang on a sec, man. Did you hear that? All of you, everyone from Central Pennsylvania, you are really, really racist. Hey, Kristen, just duck. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
It's just a foreigner's perspective. I'm from Egypt, but
I get
most
it.
people. But anyways, so I was meeting her family, and it was like her entire extended family. And I remember I met like the mom, and she was nice. I met the cousins. But now it's coming to me like her dad and her grandfather, and I just took my hand. I just wanted to shake his hand, and he completely refused it. Like, and there were like a good like 50 or 60 people.
Whoa.
And in my culture, if you don't shake my hand, then what the fuck? Like, shake my hand, man. Like it's a
Wait,
huge,
how do you say that in Arabic? How would you say that in?
like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Aha, or like we don't. Yeah, that's like our closest translation.
Aha.
Yeah, but no, but say it like from the heart, like aha. There we go.
I gotta remember that. Okay.
So that happened, and my hand was just out there, and in the end, like he didn't shake my hand, and then like 2 minutes later, he and like the grandfather got up and left.
Oh, dude, seriously? Wow. Okay, if that ever happens to anybody else in here ever, just walk around at the whole party like this. Just the whole day, just like this. Yeah. Dude, that's pretty serious. Okay, that's an outlandish story. That's hard to believe, actually, that somebody could be so rude. All right, up there on the corner. Yeah, all right, go ahead. Mike, here. Hang on. Mike's going to be back on first. Go ahead, Mike. Yeah, push it up.
I was in San Diego. I tried to charge my phone in a liquor store.
In a liquor store?
Yeah.
Like where? Like on the vodka or something? Or?
I was just asking for a charger so I could call an Uber to San Diego State.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
And
Meaning like,
It was
hey,
some, like-
do you have a charger? I could just charge my phone really fast so I can call an Uber.
yeah, and they didn't let me. So I wouldn't leave the store until I received a charger or help. And they called the police, but other people came trying to get me out of the store, and I didn't leave. And they started calling me a nigger, a monkey, and all this shit. And I still didn't leave. And I threatened them to hit me. I said, hit me. Like, hit me. I'm not leaving. Hit me. And then they called the police, and they took me to a psych ward.
Seriously?
Seriously.
The police did?
Yeah, they threw me in the psych ward and said I was schizophrenic and bipolar, and I had anxiety, and I wanted people to hurt me. And I spent a whole month in a psych ward.
Dude, seriously?
I spent my 21st birthday in a psych ward.
Dude.
Check my medical records.
Whoa. So, and what you wanted, what you were asking is, hey, my phone's dead. I need to call an Uber. Can you just charge this thing up for me?
Yeah, it was basically like some white dude who was like in charge of the whole neighborhood. He had security guards with him. Like,
Yeah.
call the police.
Wow.
And they believe what he said.
Dude. All right. Dude, that's pretty intense. That's pretty extreme. All right, go ahead, man. Yep. Hey, by the way, the Egyptian dude, anyone, white women, or non-Egyptian women, not just white women, or men if you're gay and is the Egyptian guy's gay. Dude, Egyptians have the highest rate of college attendance and graduation and basically the highest incomes of anybody in the United States. So if you get a chance to be with an Egyptian dude, rock on with it. And he's pretty handsome there too, so. Are you straight, bro? Are you straight? What's...
He said yes, very straight.
Oh, all right. All right, so there it is. Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a girlfriend? It's complicated? All right, dude, see that? It's complicated, so there's still a chance. All right, go ahead, bro.
Hello. Okay, so I was at a party as a sophomore. It was with the College Democrats Club, and it was a Halloween party, so everyone was dressed up. And then I was just hanging out, and this white guy dressed as Harry Potter just walked in and made eye contact with me. And he was like, "Are you Chinese?" And then I was like, "Yeah." And then he tried to speak some Chinese gibberish and hit on me. And he like looked me up and down and like touched my shoulder. And I was like, "Oh." And I guess I was hit on. I was hit on by a gay dude. I'm straight, by the way. Or we discussed this, metrosexual. But yeah, I'm straight, by the way, and this gay guy hit on me, and I was like, wow, this must be how it feels to be like a woman at a party.
You did. There it is, man. Yep. A college Democrats party, too?
Yeah, yeah. And this
You know,
was
Democrat, I thought you were all.
You're telling me that there's no gay Democrats?
Okay, well, just, is it fast?
Yeah, it's fast.
Go ahead, man. Wait, what's your name?
Ali.
Ali.
Do I stand up or?
Yeah, just stand up real fast.
So
You're good.
I had an internship in Pittsburgh this past summer, and sorry, I'm a little nervous. I've never spoken in front of this many people, but I was working at a pizza shop to pay bills for the apartment I was staying at, and all the busboys and like the dishwashers, they were black, and I worked as a cashier, and one of the black guys came up to me and they said like, be careful, like don't bring that school bag around with you. And I was like, what do you mean? Like it has my clothes. I usually change after my internship because I wear a suit and stuff like that. And then he said like, people are gonna think you're a terrorist. And then I was like, okay, that kind of caught me off guard, but I guess, all right. So the manager was actually standing a little bit and she like heard it. So she came up to me and she said she's gonna tell the owner, and then she got the guy fired. And then he told all of his like busboy and dishwasher friends. So they kept like passing me every time for like the next 4 months, calling me like Ahmed the terrorist. And my name's not even Ahmed, but they just called me Ahmed the terrorist. And like that was the first time I ever experienced like actual racism. But they kind of like harassed me verbally like every time I went to work for the like next 4 months.
So that's a story, right? Just like, yep. All right, man. Somebody, last one, final one. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I was in Panera.
What's your name?
I'm Brecklin. I was in Panera move-in weekend of last fall with my roommate who was white, and we were eating dinner, I think it was, outside, like in the patio area, and there was this elderly white couple sitting there, and they kind of stopped conversation when we sat down to have dinner and kind of were just like looking at me, and they would look at my white roommate, and then they would look back at me. But I didn't really say anything. I just continued to eat. And then coming up the street by Panera was a couple holding hands and being all like lovey-dovey, and it was a white woman and a black man. And so they continued to cross the street, and then this elderly couple looks up and she sees them, and she goes, "Wow, that is disgusting." So then I started to get a little angry, but I continued to listen to what she had to say, and then she goes to her husband, "If that would have been me as a young girl, my dad would have came outside with a shotgun and handled that situation."
Handle that
And-
situation.
Yeah. And so I asked her, I turned to her, because we were only like a couple tables away, and I was like, "What do you mean that situation?" And she was like, "That's wrong. A white man and a black woman shouldn't be together." And so I told her, I was like, I don't appreciate what you're saying because you're speaking to someone who is a result of a biracial marriage. And she just like held her ground. She was like, "Well, like I feel sorry for you. Like you're like what your parents are is wrong, and you know
And
white
you're
should be
disgusting.
with, yeah,
Yeah.
white people should be with white people, and black people should be with black people. And
Yeah.
when you guys intermix your races, like
Yeah.
the result is just wrong and it's disgusting, and
Yeah.
like that's not how our world should be."
Yo, that's intense. That's deep, man. That's really deep for you to hold too.
Yeah, and that was when I was a freshman, so like that was my first like experience of the Penn State community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've been in the community for 30 years, so
No,
it's
yeah,
like-
I've never had anything else like that happen before, but that was just really like
yeah. But it happened. Okay, so thanks for sharing that. That's like, so listen, man. Look, so here's the deal, right? We're gonna we're staying on this theme, right? Because I have not answered the question, how often does it happen? So now I want you to think of for yourself, how often does discrimination and racism happen? How often? You just heard separate stories, but you don't have the data. Like, right? We heard stories. First off, we don't know if any of the stories are true. So right? We have no idea if any of the stories we've heard are true. I'm going to assume that they are because I asked for it. But like, how prevalent is racism? How prevalent is discrimination? We have not answered that question. These could be the only stories in the room. These could be the only stories at Penn State. These could be the only stories in the state of Pennsylvania. I mean, you understand, like, we don't know. And so we haven't gotten there yet. So if you're the one that's going to grab the microphone and come down on the front and answer this question, how often does discrimination and racism occur? We haven't given you anything to go with yet. You still don't have anything. You can't write your 5-minute talk that's worth anything because you can't speak to this question. Really. Listen. Man, I so wanna go in a slightly. This is where we are gonna pick up next class. With this question of exaggerations, half-truths, false allegations, misinformation, all of this stuff is part of it. It's all part of it. But what's interesting is that if you're here in the place of disbelief, meaning that if you're not part of various communities, right? So, for example, the disabled community, which I just happen to know pretty well because I spent so many years being part of it. It's like, as individuals, people they sort of hold their stories. But when we would come together as a group, and different people with different levels of disabilities would start sharing stories that they had, then stuff would start to come out. And the things that even people in the community didn't believe actually happened, then it would just be like, oh, yeah, okay, that happened. I get that. And then suddenly the disbelief would start to drop away. And again, listen, this is really important. I have not weighed in on how often or how prevalent discrimination or racism is. I have not weighed in on that. You get that, right? This is really important. I'm just going to give you some stuff, and then you weigh in on it. But but right now, if you're in your head saying, "Oh, it happens all the time," then I want to challenge you to say, "What do you mean by that? What's all the time?" I haven't. How many instances of egregious discrimination and racism have you seen today? I mean, there are millions upon millions of interactions at Penn State University on a given day. Entering classrooms and leaving classrooms and walking across campus and walking all around and meeting with students and advisors and classes and one thing out. Millions, tens of millions of brief exchanges and interactions. Buying food, going to the help desk at the Common and getting someone to fix your computer and so on. How many instances have you witnessed? How many are there? Of the millions upon millions that happen every single day, how many are discrimination? How many are racism? So you can't answer that question. It's like, and then if you look at it like that, you could say, whoa, well, it doesn't happen very often. But it's like, well, then hang on a second, but why look at it like that? There are other ways to look at it, and we could cut the pie up and say, well, it's actually fairly common, relatively speaking. It just depends on how we cut the pie. Like, I can look at it in lots of different ways. And so what I want you to do as much as possible at this stage in the game is just keep your mind open so that you can fill it with a perspective that is thoughtful. So that at the end of the semester, if I pick someone out and say, you got to sit on the table and give us 5 minutes to answer this question, you'd be able to do it and you wouldn't sound like a complete knucklehead. Listen, man, we have a few more minutes before we have an announcement. Who's got a question that they want to pose? We have a couple more minutes. We have 4 minutes, 3 minutes before we have an announcement. Who's got a question they want to ask? Somebody ask a question. Come on, you got to have a question. Who wants to make a statement? Then, who wants to make a statement? Dude, you gonna make a statement? Yo, all right, here we go. Can you stand?
Oh, sure.
And what's your name?
Hi, everybody. I'm Malik.
Malik?
Yes. So clearly, I'm Muslim, and I just want to know, for those who have discriminated against Muslims, why do you do that? I'm just genuinely curious. So if anybody would like to let me know, because in my experience, for people who have, I feel like it's a sense of not really educating yourself on the religion or the people that surround it. So, yeah, if anybody wants to let me know, that would be great.
Hey, where are you from, by the way?
I'm originally from Palestine.
From Palestine, and you live in the U.S.?
Yeah, I came here when I was like 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. When did you start to cover?
My freshman year of college.
When you came off to college?
I started at a branch campus, so I was still living with my parents.
Cool. That's a great question. We'll answer that.
I would love to know because, you know, it's offensive towards me, but I'm trying to make sense of it for people who do feel that way. But, yeah.
Listen, you know, the way you ask the question, though, is really the perfect way. It's just like, because this is data gathering. Like, I'm not here to convince anyone to think a certain way or to brainwash you into something. Remember that, right? Like, this is key. So the way you ask that question is like, yeah, just give me some data. Like, what is it? You sort of answered it in a way, but
I really feel like the way I've been brought up and wearing a headscarf has taught me that you can argue with someone who is racist or feels ignorant towards you, but you can also have a conversation and try to get to some point where you might try to understand them, or maybe they just don't understand you. Because I've met people who have, you know, I've gotten to know them, they're white, and they've told me at some point that they felt like Muslims were terrorists, and then once they've gotten to know me, they're kind of like, oh, like I kind of understand it a little bit better. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely talk about Islam a fair amount.
Yeah, that'll be.
So it's really interesting, like an hour ago in the chat, on the YouTube chat, there were a few people who were commenting saying how they are afraid of Muslims. And they were just saying that randomly. So he just commented back and said, just read the news. That's why everybody is scared. And so it just really, I think I can answer that question that you have partly. It's ignorance. That's all it is. You don't have the opportunity to allow yourself to have a connection and a conversation with somebody who's of a different culture. You're not going to understand them, and you're going to be afraid of them.
Yeah, I understand we're running out of time and everything, and I know that Muslims are discriminated against a lot of the time because of what you see in the news. But, you know, most of us are good. If you study the religion or know anything about it, it's really a positive, peaceful religion. And that just because someone claims to be a Muslim and they go and attack someone does not mean that everybody else is Muslim.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, when
like,
you said most of us, I'm going to say the vast majority. Hey, okay, so we have an announcement, but we also have 3 minutes left. So yo, hang on, man. Those. Yeah. Hey, you have all the attendance sheets, right, Caitlin? Katie, you have all the attendance. Okay. Anyway, listen. By the way, hang on. You have all the attendance sheets, right? Good. Hey, but by the way, this is Jeff. I never introduced Jeff. Jeff runs the entire, all the technology. Jeff is the guru of all things technology, runs the stream, and he really runs the part of the class that Lauren doesn't run, he does. Okay, bro. So, hang on. We haven't announced. We have an opportunity for you to be a camp counselor at Shavers Creek. And Matt? Yeah. This is Matt, by the way. Hang on. Listen up. Go ahead, Matt.
All right, thanks. Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. Give your 1-minute pitch, and then I'll give my 30-second pitch.
Well, thank you. I work at Shavers Creek Environmental Center. I work with a program called Outdoor School to try and get fifth graders to care about each other and to care about the planet. When's it too young to start teaching people to respect each other and to respect, the world we have? So we run 6 weeks of it every fall and spring. All the fifth graders from Huntington County and Mifflin County come to a camp about a half-hour away. We get about 100 Penn State students to come to camp for a week. You spend a whole week you would miss your Penn State classes to come there. About 20 Penn State students a week to be role models for fifth graders, to teach them to be the best people they can be as they grow up. It's a 2-credit class, and you have to apply online at the website there. If you don't have a car, that's okay. We coordinate carpooling, all that kind of thing. But you meet amazing people. You make a difference in the world. And a lot of people that do this kind of work realize the value in it and trying to make the world a better place. So
Okay, so real quick, 2 things to keep in mind. A, especially need men and women of color. You can use your community service hours. You can get them for this. So if you got an underage or something, killing it. And also, it's really awesome to work with fifth graders. And you learn so much about them. You learn so much about yourself. If you need a couple credits and you think like, hey, I want to go into this, I'd like to do this, come down the front and talk to Matt really quick. Matt, you could just come over here. Talk to him really fast. Don't forget, you might get an email from us about the Monday things. So have a good weekend.